agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have any public comment? Okay. I guess it's up to you, JD. You think he needs to talk?
J.D. King, Page County Engineer. A decent winter day in Page County. The engineer update was sent out yesterday afternoon. The paper copy you have in front of you is slightly revised from that version. I'll highlight that when I get to it. We did have plow trucks out Sunday made a round on the pavements. This week thus far, all the crews are burning brush piles. We cut a lot of brush last winter and didn't have much opportunity to burn, so we're burning when we have snow cover, although it's a little windy. There are lots of piles to burn in various locations, and perhaps we're losing snow cover. Perhaps we won't burn tomorrow and go back to cut and run. We have some hydraulic control problems with one of our tandems. We had fuel issues Sunday, unfortunately. Got everything ran but one truck.
Yeah, just because it's so cold.
Right, but we should be able to run. Cold. And the All-Tech truck, one from the south somewhere, supposed to be headed to St. Joe this week. And of course, they told me that last week too. Now I've got storm issues. So I'm not holding my breath till they tell me it's there.
This is the sign truck, right?
This is a sign. Yes. We're closing in on the closeout of the Essex Bridge. Doing some project development in Yorktown right away is what the task is. We're working on the county 5-year program. The budget was turned in, both secondary roads budget and weed commissioner budget. That's an addition from the emailed version. The Shenandoah Hills Wind Project, PCC patch and check that was discussed last meeting, arrived safely via UPS for the full amount that was billed.
Okay.
They still owe us for rock that's to be placed as part of the closeout of the Hall Road turn back. But the item that was contentious is paid for. And next week's, a couple of days, is the Iowa Concrete Paving Association having their paving workshop in Des Moines. I'll attend that, and Nick will be here. Questions for the update?
Thank you, Mid-American, for the check.
I sent him a note back and we received it.
Okay, good.
So thank you.
Thanks, JD. Okay. Our next agenda item is Jill Harvey, our EMA update.
Hello.
Hello.
So I just thought I would kind of recap 2025, some of the events we had in our county. We had our typical weather. Winter weather started in February and March last year. Nothing major. There was some communication with Red Cross in some of those storms just to kind of prepare in case we needed some sheltering, but we didn't. February was a busy month with fires. last year. We had multiple field fires. We had a couple days where multiple counties had multiple fires going on at the same time, so it was a little bit crazy. Severe weather spotting training, we do that with Fremont County. That was done last February. We are looking at doing that again in March. April 17th was probably one of our biggest weather events. That was when we had the EF1 tornado in Essex and hit Pierce Creek pretty hard too. Red Cross did come out for that to provide some casework if needed. I don't think they had anyone respond for that with needs. I think most of them were handled through their insurances and whatnot. They did provide lunch to multiple locations that were out working, cleaning up damage for, I think they came up Friday and Saturday and maybe Sunday after that storm. So we worked with them. April, we also had a house fire that Red Cross responded to. I think we had 7 families we assisted for that. In May, we had an evacuation of Acura over in Shenandoah due to a gas leak. That went well. We used the SWITA buses, school buses, had a quick response. We've done that a couple times over there now, but this one was a little better. It was at least in summer and not in 20 below weather. June, we had another storm come through with some wind damage. Pierce Creek was a favored target this year, apparently. And Essex, they had some more tree damage. Then we had some other minor storms, nothing real severe. We did have a cold air funnel that was spotted just northeast of Clarinda. That was in July. And then in August 9th and 10th, we had a fairly significant storm move through parts of the county. That's one that went through Shenandoah that caused the fatality. We had a group of bicycle riders in town that we were not aware of, sleeping in the park, and unfortunately resulted in a fatality there. We did work with the Shenandoah schools. They provided a bus, so we were able to get those bicycle riders back to their hometown where they started from. So that was a busy day, lots of storm cleanup. Worked with the city on that. August, we had another house fire. We had a couple of those last year. September, we had the water issue here in Clarinda. Hy-Vee did donate some water to the schools. They don't like to send out a partial truck of donated water, so we did work together and distributed that to all the communities that were affected. Basically, each smaller town got like a pallet of water. They came and picked up, took back, and they distributed to their people as needed. I think we checked in with some of the long-term care facilities, some of the housing places, the lower income based, to help provide that water and disperse that. September was also pretty busy with field fires, and we had a couple combine fires around the area. Depending upon where you go, you may still see those combines sitting in the field. Let's see, then October, we did have a truck accident that involved the hazmat release into the East Tarkio, I think it was, creek. Our response from ESI, which is what we changed from our Council Bluffs fire hazmat, we actually got to call ESI out. They came out and did cleanup. They were out for about a week afterwards doing water testing just to make sure. Thankfully, it didn't get any farther than to the next mile, so that went well. Thankfully, the responsible party paid for all of that. We didn't have to do any of that. November was our first snowstorm this year, and then as far as events, we've already had our first house fire. Unfortunately, January 17th, really cold day. We had a fire just west of town. Some of the trainings that I have attended, there was an EM conference in May up at Okoboji, which is all the emergency managers. We get together and we train on certain topics. And then there's also the Homeland Security Conference in October that I attended. Each year we have to have 24 hours of continuing education. Those help cover some of that. Some of the other groups, I participate with the Southwest Iowa Preparedness Partners, or the SWIP group. This does some of the funding for long-term care, public health, mostly hospitals, EMS services, and then some of the long-term care facilities. They get some of their training and there's some grant dollars for them. So I work with them I'm part of their training and exercise planning committee, so we can help meet some of their goals for training. So we had several exercises with them, and we have another one coming up for that in April. Also helped Shenandoah Hospital as an evaluator for an exercise they did in April. We've had 2 emergency drills over in Fremont County with the wind turbine project. We had great response for that. Initially, they had to have a timing to figure out how long does it take to get EMS there. So that was our first drill, and then after they got another turbine up a little bit more, we did a second drill. We'd hoped it would be in Page County, but ours were not done at that time. So both of them did happen over in Fremont. We did discover sometimes those calls, emergency calls, go down into Missouri. So we've worked out some of those delays. Let's see, we did have a countywide exercise also in October. Worked with the Clarinda Schools, hospital, and the sheriff. We had a multi-casualty incident with a pickup bus and a tractor incident. Went really well. We had multiple agencies that attended that. There was some training credit, so I think that went very well, and we're looking to do our next one. So those are some of the things we'll be working on. Attended the county fair. We had a booth there just with some information for preparedness. Just a fun way to get out and meet people. And then also recently, excuse me, Clarinda Lutheran Schools is applying for a grant to help improve some of their security. So we did an assessment over there, went out with Chief Brothers and did their assessment for their grant. And they also received their school emergency alert radio. So we've got that installed over there. So they are on the system. So they have the panic button if anything were to happen. And then some of the other things we're working on, we have parts of our emergency operation plans that we update each year. So we're currently working on, there's like 3 or 4 ESFs and then another part that we go through. That's a schedule that's set by the state, just kind of review. So that's kind of one of the things we're working on. They'll be due, I think it's the end of June. And then we just have some other smaller exercises that we hope to do in the community for several others. Our storm spotter training will be March 19th in Shenandoah. We will do this with Fremont County again, and possibly Mills and Montgomery. It's open to the public. We encourage everyone to attend. National Weather Service in Omaha is just short people, so we try to combine those trainings and not do it in every county. And then let's see, been working with the safety committee to work on trying to update some of our safety policies and handbook. There's a committee of us working on that. We've been trying to get out some safety messages monthly. Troy's doing a great job with that. And then our siren testing will begin again in March. That runs usually March through October. Any other questions? That's kind of the year in review.
Too bad you haven't done anything.
You start thinking, it's like, oh, we haven't had that much until you start looking back. It's like, we have had some.
You've done quite a bit, I'd say. Yeah.
Do you have any grants that you're applying for or looking at right now?
So our EMPG grant is the regular one, which helps pay for, we use it towards salaries in emergency management.
Yep.
Still waiting on 2025 to be released. The application is now open for 2026. That is due here the end of February. So we're still working on times that they'll, time coverage. Usually it's a 3-year grant. They talked about trying to cut that down to only a year to spend that money. I think they've reversed that and they're going back to the original time frame to be able to spend that. In my case, when we use it for wages, it's not a lot of money, so it's not a big deal because we can spend that when we get it. But some places use it for equipment. They may get that equipment in year 2, and that's caused some problems. But we are still waiting for that to be released to us. We do have a couple of projects that we're going to be looking at. We had some siren issues this summer when they didn't go off. We have a base radio that needs to be replaced out at the tower here in Clarinda that runs part of the sirens. That equipment is not the cheapest equipment. So we checked into possibly replacing or updating sirens and how they're programmed, and looking at that, I think, it's going to be cheaper to go with a new base radio. So those are some things we have to work and figure out where can we put those into the budget? How do we fund those? The radios will have to work with our fire and EMS departments on that.
Can you apply for Iowa West, grants or
Yep, that
the
is-
Surrender Foundation grant?
Yep, those will be some of those we look at, I think, for some of those. I just got the email actually that the Southwest Iowa one is open now, so in due, I think it's March, early March for the application. So, yep, that just came through. So that'll be one of them we'll look at. Nothing else for that base radio. It's like the radio and installation is about $13,000. We were hoping we could just reprogram radios, move it with the 911 move, but to update each siren alone is like $5,400. So in the long run, I don't think that's going to be our cost of it. So we'll have to
So
talk
it
about that.
operates several of the radios or the sirens?
Yep, it's just the sirens.
Okay.
I don't know why they're set up the way they are. It's like an old setup through frequencies where some of them are updated and actually run through dispatch and simulcast paging. This actually has to be shot to another tower to get signals out. I don't understand all the how that works.
Is
but-
there any way to change it?
What's that?
Is there any way to change it?
We'd have to reprogram the sirens to do that.
Okay.
And we were looking at some of the cost because there is a dedicated internet line or some sort of line out at the tower. And that's almost $500 a month. But it's like, if we could get that out of there, maybe we could reduce that too. But there's just a whole lot of parts and pieces. And I get one person I can ask a question of, and then I have to go ask another person the question. I need them all in the same room so we can do it at one time. So that's something we're going to be looking at. We do have for that base radio, it's in our upcoming budget just in case we have to supply it. Runs our sirens. If our sirens don't work, which I don't encourage anyone to rely just on sirens, but it is a pretty significant part of our warning system. So we'll keep working on that. Thankfully, we were able to piece together the equipment that quit last year because they don't make parts for it anymore. So we had some extras laying around.
Wow.
Yeah, we have some updates we need to do with some of our equipment for sure.
Sounds like it's pretty old.
It is. Even like our radios that fire EMS use, they've never had an update done since they put them in 2018. So even just like firmware and some of that stuff, we need to do countywide. And that's one of our projects we have to talk with fire and the people who own those radios because it's really their expense to upkeep, but some of our departments might not be able to do that. And we may have to find a way to help. So.
Well, it's a lot going on in the last year and upcoming.
So yeah, we're gonna hope it's
So,
quiet.
do you call on Brian Hammond then for the drone at
Yes.
different times?
Yep. If we need it, he has one. There's also one in Fremont County that we call over.
Okay.
And I think the sheriff's department is trying to get a few licensed. I'm still trying to work on my license. And
I
then,
was gonna ask you if
Yeah.
you're still working on trying to get one or.
yes, I will.
Okay.
It's one of those technical things. I'm like a different, kind of a hands-on learner to learn it. But that is one of the things I'm going to focus on in the next couple months because it's like, I don't want to buy a new drone if we don't have people to
Yeah,
to use it. So,
Yeah.
and I'd rather train on the one we currently have in case something happens.
So we do have one.
We do have, it's an older one.
Okay.
We actually bought a used one from Montgomery County. We've had it for several years. It was here before I got here. But yeah, it's definitely needs some updates, but in a pinch it would work. And I found we have a couple drone pilots in the area too. So maybe we could, not one person is always available for that. So to have multiple people who could fly that would be great, I think, and go together. I don't think you can't put too many drones up in the air.
Okay.
We all know.
We didn't know.
So yeah, that's
Okay.
one of the things I'm hoping to get finished before storm season really kicks up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know you needed to have a license to do it.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Something new. Okay, well, thank you, Jill.
And
A lot
we're
of
still
updates.
meeting Thursday, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Thursday 6. We'll start at 6
Okay.
with EMA and then 911, and then hopefully it'll be.
A lot of the mayors last night said, "Oh, we got a meeting Thursday
Yeah.
night." So, yeah, you might have a good crowd, or they might forget by then.
Well, I'm hoping so. They're supposed to have a date for me to
Yes.
plan our public hearing. So
Be a good idea. Yes.
yeah.
Okay. The next item is discuss action suspension of tax request. Resolution 1126. We have a request for taxes being suspended on a property at 609 Matthews Street, owned by Dennis and Susan Nance. For those of you who don't understand a suspension, I think they have to have an approval from VHS or Human Services, what it used to be. I'm not sure what it is now. Anyway, HHS, yeah, right. But anyway, then they asked the board to approve the suspension, and this just puts your taxes in suspension, but if you go to sell it, those have to be brought up. So could I have a motion to approve this?
I'll make a motion that we approve for resolution 11-2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now we have board communication. Anybody have board communication? Ryan?
Man, E911 meeting Thursday.
Okay, we need to tell Kristen so that she can put it on our other meeting down here. You and I are going to the state supervisor meeting Thursday.
Yep.
Today I attended courthouse rough pre-bid meeting, the Wabansie Mental Health Center meeting, and the wellness meeting. And we all were at the conference board meeting on Monday night. So it's been a pretty busy week.
Yep.
Wabansie Mental Health, Elaine Armstrong has gone off that board after many, many years, and Kristen is going to go on. So, representing Page County. Okay. Discuss approve claims. Action.
Make a motion we approve claims.
I'll second that. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Brian told me to second. Okay, and our meeting minutes from the 20th of January need to be approved.
Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes as stated.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and our next agenda item is what? To adjourn. Okay,
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
all in favor? Aye. 4:23.